Nope.
How's it going, everyone? I'm Honest, and this is the show to watch, the show to be a part of, The Honest Experience. First, I'd like to thank everyone that's been liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. It is people like you that are going to continue to help our little community to grow. So please continue to share. If you haven't, go over to my channel, subscribe, ring that bell so you can stay up to date. If you've done all that, why don't you bring somebody else over? Make sure they subscribe, ring that bell also so they can stay up to date as well. So, did anybody happen to catch yesterday's morning press conference about the Wisconsin election investigation that's going on? Well, that they're wrapping up. Haven't heard a lot of people talk about this. However, I did watch that. It's about an hour and 15 minutes long. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you check it out. There's a lot of information in there, a lot of shady things going on, people admitting that they're breaking laws. But I do recommend that you check that out. This is the first time law enforcement that I'm aware of is getting involved in this election. So if these sheriffs that investigated this think that there's a problem, I mean, it's just one thing after another. Trump was right. We were right. We already know that this election smells. And here we go. We're having now more on top of that. And so when you have those liberals that sit there and tell you, well, no judge, no law enforcement, nothing has been done, knowing that no judge didn't want to touch this. You had a Obama appointed judge that laughed and just dismissed it. Other judges that were afraid to touch it. They say the Supreme Court was absolutely terrified of touching this. So we never really got our day in court. I know I feel like we didn't get our day in court. I know President Trump feels like he didn't get his day in court, and many of the people working for him and his administration and whatnot. And I'm sure a lot of you feel that way too. But so from Fox 6 down there, their local news in Milwaukee, printed out some stuff that they broke down from the conference, and I wrote some stuff down. There was a lot of information. And it's not just about the information itself. It's how the sheriffs detail and break it down that really open your eyes to show that people had an agenda with this 2020 election. And we know what their agenda was, and it's getting exposed. We might not like the outcome that has happened so far. Anything can change. If you're a believer in Christ, God can work anything. I'm not here to get anybody's hopes up or whatnot, but I am saying that at least we're starting to get the corruption out there. We know that it was there. We know certain things, but we haven't known everything. And so things are starting to come to light. You're going to have the sheep, the idiots, and the followers. Majority of them probably will wave this off just like they always do. But there's always hope that you keep plucking one or two. And I know from 2016 to 2020, and now we're coming up to now, we have been taking people. People have been doing the walk away from the Liberal Party. You've been seeing the hashtags, all sorts of people. If you get on social media, especially after 2020, you have a lot of liberals walking away. So that's the bright side. Let me go ahead and get into this. Like I said, I don't want to make these long, boring videos any longer than I have to. So I encourage you to watch the full press conference. And I'll just get right into what I have here. And Rising County Sheriff Christopher Schumaling unveiled on Thursday, October 28th, the result of an investigation into a possible election law violations throughout Ricin County and Wisconsin. While the sheriff alleges the law has been broken, he has not recommended charges. He quoted, "Election statutes was in fact not just broken, but shattered by members of the Wisconsin Elections Commission." I mean, you have a sheriff that's out there that these men are to uphold the Constitution. They say many times throughout that conference, this is not a right or left. They're not here to change the outcome. They're here to not only uphold the government doing their jobs and the laws that they enacted themselves, but they're also wanting to, serve up the Constitution like their job and what they were voted and hired in to do. This lady that we're going to talk about, she is the one that started opening up this investigation, and it's quite amazing that this one lady just started, something clicked, and she started seeing one thing after another, started asking questions. Some people wouldn't answer her, some people would give her little tidbits, and she worked her way on up until she started filing complaints. And they even said, I don't know if I'm jumping even into here, but one allegation turned into 7, and it just kept, they said onion blossom or whatever that saying is, something like that. And so anyways, this lady started figuring out stuff was wrong, and it led into checking out this one nursing home. And as you'll find out, they think that this because the same stuff that was going on was told to all 72 counties there in Wisconsin. So this investigation in this county is concluded, but they think that if the AG or whatever opened it up, it's going to be a lot worse. But the case started with Shirley, a resident of the Ridgewood Care Facility in Mount Pleasant, who died in October 2020 and voted in the presidential election. Her daughter Judy filed a complaint alleging her mother was unmentally capable and was taken advantage of. Ricin County Sergeant Michael Lewell, maybe said that last name wrong, investigated the issue. Judy was obviously concerned and asked, how can you actually do this? And she was informed that the employees would inquire as to how the residents had voted in the past, and they would basically follow those guidelines and vote accordingly to that. So we'll find out. She digs in deeper, but basically, whether they were all there or not, what they do is go off of past elections. And something that we've seen in 2016 and in 2020, people that voted for Obama voted for Trump. And there's vice versa. But the thing of it is there are a lot of people that one day they're Democrat, the next day they are Republican, or they might hold true to a party but decide that particular election that's happening, they vote for the other party because, like, for instance, in 2016, a lot of people did not want Hillary Clinton. So they weren't going to vote for her. So they voted for the lesser of two evils. They say, I don't agree with that. I don't agree Trump is evil at all. But so anyways, Judy was obviously concerned and asked, how can you actually do this? And she was informed that the employees would inquire to the past, how they voted. Judy, quite stunned and astonished, as you imagine, asked, are you telling me that if my mother can only recall JFK, that the staff would have voted Democrat for her? And they answered yes. So with that question, and when you watch the conference, they don't put it like this, but it's not just going back to if they can find out what you voted in the last election. they take any information, supposedly, this is how they were saying we conduct this to make themselves look legit. Um, if this person had dementia and couldn't call anything past JFK, and this lady said, "Oh yeah, I like JFK," or "Oh, I voted for JFK," or anything like that, they went ahead and put him down for the Democratic Party, which we know now that the if that was, if going off of what the question was asked, JFK is so far from what the Democrat and Liberal Party are today. A lot of people, even on the Democrat Party, would say that JFK now, if he was alive today with the same ideology, would line up more with the GOP than anything. Now, people can dispute that, but that's how far, even within, I've heard that even on different interviews, bringing up different things, especially throughout Obama. One thing that the Republican Party and see, we've always been known as the party of the Abe Lincoln. We freed the slaves. We want everybody equal. Well, what is the Democrat the party of? And sometimes you'll get people say the party of JFK, but they're so far off of that. And I believe JFK was one of those Democrats that actually did believe in freedom, and that it was in different times. I don't want to speak for everything that he was going through then, and if somebody get a gotcha moment, but I do believe that he wasn't like this bigot racist like a lot of the Democrats are now today, always have been. But I do believe that there were certain people in that party that built that hype of, now we are no longer the party of the races. We are the party of diversity. And but that's not what it is today. They attack you if you don't think like them. And he could have moved right along. Money talks when you're part of that party. And if he was still alive, he would have been a big dog today. And it's just kind of like Bill Clinton and Hillary. They went more to the left because that's where the money was. Couple of things worth noting real quick before we move on. Like I said, there were several incidents in this conference that they brought up. The sheriffs did, but the WEC, the Wisconsin Election Commission, had a Zoom meeting, and they mentioned multiple times how they knew they were breaking the law, and they mentioned how they needed more flexibility to not follow the law. And we'll discuss this a little bit more, but also in this nursing home, they were getting sent either pre-filled ballots for these people, or they were having the clerks fill it out. And one of the things that they go in depth, especially in this conference, is what the Wisconsin Election Commission did was not only took, which already was questionable laws by all the governors and mayors and all those legislators and all this stuff, but they decided that they knew better, and they were telling people that had no lawful right, you fill this out, check that box for them, and then send it back in. So some of these, and they received certified letters telling them, again, jumping ahead a little bit, but the deputies, which these election deputies, ballot deputies, whatever you want to call them, you get voted on, and it's supposed to be one Republican and one Democrat, and they're supposed to go through this extensive thing where they're not supposed to be biased. They're just supposed to go in there together, watch each other, collect these ballots, check them out, and take them back in. And the election commission in Wisconsin said, nope, don't let them in. Don't let anybody in. But they were breaking it down. They were having a list of all these in the nursing homes, all these people. The nursing homes decided We can't let you in because of COVID. That's what they were telling these deputies. But yet they were letting the Orcamans in. You wanted a job, they would interview with you with no problem. They had a long list of people that, yeah, on a normal day, it seems like, sure. And then some of these were outright like, okay, even, yeah, on a normal day, you'd get away with it, but we're in a supposed crisis right now, health crisis, and you're letting all these people in, and yet you can't let these deputies, these ballot deputies in. And so there's just a lot of stuff at play, and we keep finding out this stuff when you go to Arizona, Georgia, just lies on top of lies on top of lies. What are the liberals known for? Lying and being hypocrites. Everything they say, it's usually the opposite. So carrying on, how could my mother know that her vote was recorded accurately? She couldn't see. Judy was informed by the staff that the staff hoped that the other employees would be honest. So they're hoping, as this was going on, that these employees that were helping them out were figuring out a way that they were being honest. But that really didn't answer the question. That was just to get out of it. Like, we hope we're being honest. There's, we're following the guidelines that we were told, but they themselves were running a slippery slope. So even I heard that one of the sheriffs say that, even a lot of these people that helped him out, they knew better. They probably could be wrapped up in these charges as well. So the sheriffs found in the Ridgewood care facility had unusual surge in voting activities in 2020. This is another repeat. In the past year, it was roughly 10 votes, but in 2020, it rose to 42. Families of 8 of them say they think their relatives didn't have the cognitive ability to vote. Now, I know that you smart conservatives will sit there and figure out everything that's going on and understand that this is one place out of multiple places in one county, let alone there's 72 counties. I mean, this could explosively thousands and thousands, tens of thousands, 72 counties, and not all of them will. But I know here where I live, there is hundreds of nursing homes, and I'm probably lowballing it. And that's just in the actual city. That's not the suburbs that people can count as the city or whatnot. And so, counties have lots of different cities and towns and suburbs. I mean, it really can add up. So, those liberals that, because they'll nitpick, oh, that's just a little, that won't change it. It doesn't matter if it doesn't change it. What is right is right. And that's something that you guys want to manipulate all the time as well. What is right is wrong with you guys, and what is evil, bad, is good. But it could. And as we dig into each state that we have started doing investigations or audits, these little bits end up adding up that the election could swing. The state could swing. All right. The VH would ask her own son, "Who are you?" She couldn't even recognize her own son, and she happened to vote in 2 elections in 2020, but no other elections, said Sergeant Lewell, Racine County Sheriff Office Public Information Office. The sheriff accuses the Wisconsin Election Commission of breaking the law. The commission is equally divided between Democrats and Republicans. They voted 5-1 during the pandemic, when nursing homes were limiting visitors, that across the state should not send special voting deputies into nursing homes. In normal years, there are deputies by clerk pairs of the normal helping nursing homes and residents to vote. This means the staff at the facility absolutely positively cannot by law assist or execution of the votes. And this is a summary but he did go in more detail. Like they know that they weren't supposed to be helping them. That's what these deputies, as I told you, was telling you earlier, they're supposed to go in and but everybody was allowed to come in, but these deputies also the Wisconsin Election Commission was constantly telling out these nursing home staffs, giving them tips how to properly fill this out, what to do. So they were in the ear. They're not only breaking laws and trying to not only send out pre-ballots the way they wanted these people to vote, having these people that could not vote, should not vote, but even some of them passed away and were still voting, and they were telling these people what to do, giving them tips. It's like the Godfather running the whole show. They got their hands all everywhere. Their fingers are sticky, just running everything there in Wisconsin. And so you back it up and see. Another comment I wanted to make. You hear that this was Democrat and Republican. You have a bunch of rhinos since 2016 that have hated and wanted Trump gone. Didn't even want him to be president. They hated him. And these rhinos were more outspoken for Trump because these liberals were the way that they were acting, but Trump wasn't the only one. These rhinos, these Romneys and McCains, and I'm not trying to pick on him. I know, rest his soul, but those are the type that are rhinos that we don't want in our party, and there's a lot of them. And there's a reason why we call them rhinos, because it's not just a clever Republican in name only. It's these Republicans that do not care about our core values, and they always side against us unless there is completely we hold the power or whatever. But then still, to make themselves look good, sometimes they will go against the grain. But it usually they favor the left, and they're everywhere. So to act like that's something, oh well, it can't be anything wrong. Well, yeah, we got crooked people in our party too, and we want them gone. And you got a whole mess of evidence showing that stuff is smelling wrong, and just because there's a couple Republicans in there doesn't make it okay. The sheriffs are asking the Wisconsin AG to investigate statewide. Of course, the Democrats' reply is this is a nothing burger and a waste of taxpayer money. That's what they always say anytime they're caught. I mean, right now you have Cuomo that is looking to be arrested next week. It's misdemeanor, probably get out of it or whatever. But remember when he first started, it was a nothing burger. This was just a waste of time, waste of taxpayers' monies. People are out to get me. I don't know what's going on in everybody's home life, but I'm telling you this, that every time there's stuff that's shady, the Democrats just want to wave it off, and they usually get what they want. So we have got to stick together. Even when it's little bit, we can't just, it ain't going to go nowhere. I'm tired of seeing that. I know I feel that way too, but we can't let them see that. We can't let them see the division. That just helps them. Well, look, they don't care. And then because we don't care, we don't do nothing about it. We need to, at least for those that can't, fake it till you make it. You need to be out there blowing this story up. You need to be out there everywhere on social media, calling. I say this all the time, texting, emailing, faxing, all the government agencies, even if it doesn't make sense. You need to be blowing them up. We need answers. There's too much of this stuff going on. And I'm sorry, but a lot of these people would not be risking their jobs. Even back from the election, when all this stuff first started with Sidney Powell and all them. I'm not saying one particular one is not crazy or didn't join up there or not. But what I am saying is the sheriffs even brought this up. These people are getting on camera during this press conference that are bringing up this complaint. They're not hiding it. They're not shy about it. They're not lying about it. They have signed affidavits that if they were lying, they would go to jail. And we've been seeing all this, but yet nobody's gone to jail over these affidavits. So nobody's lied. It's just nothing's happening. And part of it is, sorry, conservatives, but we're not supporting each other. Whether you like the content or not, if they're spreading the message that you believe in, it does not hurt to go out and make a comment, like, share, comment, support. But I'm not even just talking about this. We need to go out and start representing conservative values and putting things up and not letting it go. Not commenting on something like, we already know that this happened, but nothing's going to happen. I understand that you feel that way. And some of you might feel that you saying that might trigger people to actually do something. I don't know. But it doesn't work. We have to do better. We have to start supporting conservatives in every way. We can no longer keep having elections stolen from us every day. I was thinking about this earlier. We're living in a time. I saw a video, funny video, up on social media that was talking about living in the 90s. And he said things like, we got to go out and play until dark time, and it was okay. I could grab a machete, jump on my bike, go somewhere, and build me a ramp or a fort. I could go up to the store on my own. I lived in the 90s. As long as I was doing good in school and not getting in trouble at home, I came home, I watched the Power Rangers, I did my homework, and then I went out and played with my friends, something that is lacking in today. Now, what is my point? My parents used to talk about how they got to do stuff, and their parents talked about how life was so much different. But yeah, the stuff that I kind of pointed out also shows the different point of times. I wanted to stop and not get into actual things that I'm bringing up, because I don't want people sitting there saying, well, you're saying that this is right or not. I'm not saying everything's right. Like, I'll go ahead and give you an example. When I was younger, my parents split up, and I would see my dad every other weekend. And one thing that we'd like to do is we'd like to watch movies together. And my dad worked third shift, and he was running Big Top Dog there. So he constantly was, working, tired or whatnot. So there'd be times that, I'm 10, 11, 12 years old. We lived in a small little town at that time. And he'd let me walk up and go to the movie store and let me pick out a movie. And he would have a movie. And maybe one of those movies were rated R. Well, at that time, I was not old enough to be able to rent that type of movie. But my dad could call up and say, hey, do you have this movie? Okay, I'm sending my son down. You know who he is. You know who I am. It's cool. Let him, go get that movie. And they would be all right. Stuff like that happens. And I understand that, maybe at that time may or may not happen in a bigger city. I don't know. But that's an example of what could not happen today. There are too many laws that not only handicap you, but makes your parents, make people around you feel like you can't do anything. So what's my point? Well, people think, oh, it's better for us, but we have been seeing generation by generation our privileges getting stripped away. We are no longer free. Parents are considered terrorists if they have any questions about schools or the election or, this pandemic. We have been watching as our freedoms get taken away, and they get rapidly taken away during people like the O'Bidens. I mixed their names together. I did that before, and somebody asked me on a video, did I purposely do that or did I mess up? I purposely did that. They're one and the same, only this time it's moving faster. Obama is speaking in Joe Biden's ear, getting everything done that he couldn't do the last 8 years that he was in charge. And who's ever running Obama is telling him what to feed Joe Biden. I don't know if that's 100% the case, but something fishy like that's going on. They said it wasn't true about the election, and here stuff fishy's going on. So instead of saying things ain't going to happen, I understand your feeling. Instead of not supporting or just walking by that conservative creator, I know this sounds like it could be selfish. I'm just talking about me, but no, I sit there and get on these social medias and I will look and see if these people are spreading the message. And if they're spreading the message, even if I don't align with everything that they aligned with, I go out of my way to comment, like, share, and even follow. Even if I'm not in it, and I will watch it, or I'll put my phone down and let it play because I want to support them. We have got young creators out here that you could support that can change the young minds as they're getting indoctrinated in school. They're coming home and watching these young, beautiful conservatives, but we are passing them by. We are the ones that have to get them out there. I quite understand that I am nothing like these creators. I feel stupid even to put myself in the same arena as them, but I am a creator. I do need your support. I want your support. Mine's a little bit different though. I'm trying to build a community and I'm going to be pushing and bringing it back to you guys. But you need to support your conservatives, not just the creators, but the people that are out there that are making the difference. And, the way that I might feel that supporting, you might feel it's different. Some of it is easy, like we talked about, supporting these creators. If you're already on that social media site, it does not make that big of a difference to share, like, subscribe, follow, or whatever. But all conservatives, Trump needs us. And he's way bigger and powerful than me. So I'm not just talking about that. Trump needs us. Candace Owens needs us. Ben Shapiro needs us. Ron DeSantis needs us. Abbott needs us. We got to go out of our way to support them. And these are strong, courageous men. They're not going to go out there and say, look, I need your help. Please support me. Unless maybe it got too bad. Maybe they will. But we need to do better and just go support them. Or crap like this is going to continue to happen. So now that I made a long video that I wasn't going to do, I hope you guys see this. I hope you go out and support your conservatives. Blow this story up. Go look at that conference. It's worth your time, man. It's our country. It's our children, our grandchildren, We are the ones that got to do it. We are the generation right now. And the other half of us, the liberal side, you know what they're doing. You know what their agenda is. To kill, steal, and destroy, man. So we need to pray. We need to get out there. We need to support each other. And we cannot fight. I completely understand that there are some of these conservatives that there's little things that you could make a big deal about. But right now, all of us free thinkers, even if they're not conservative, all of us free thinkers need to stick together to save our country. And I'm trying to use more of a free thinker. I am a conservative, and I am about my conservative um, party and my community. But ultimately, I'm American, and that's my community. And I'm trying to use free thinkers more. I don't want to alienate. I know I had a few libertarians came up and they're like, "Hey, we agree with a lot of things that you say, but we are not in the GOP, and we do not consider ourselves conservative. We might have conservative values, but that conservative label is of a GOP." And I'm like, "Hey, on paper I'm Republican, but I do not claim Republican. I claim conservative. To me, it's different. But yes, a lot of the GOP are conservative." So I understand how people are. It's about the message and where we are. And a lot of those libertarians, they believe a lot of things and want the same things that we do. So, it's not just conservatives. We need to stick together, all of us free thinkers. So pray for our nation, pray for each other, support each other, whether you pray or not, support each other. Support the free thinkers, all of them, especially conservatives. You need to support your party, your people. So with all that being said, if you liked what you saw, if you liked what you heard, or you just want to help spread this beautiful conservative message of ours, continue to share. Subscribe if you haven't. Make sure you get that notification so you can stay up to date. And with that, I hope you have a good one. God bless, and I'll see you next time.
Nope.